Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of today, Sunday, the 5th, I think it is. I forgot to bring up the calendar, through the 11th, 9/11. So let's get started. We'll begin with the dice and no, buy shoes and massage. Ooh, Spirit says sex. I just heard that could have, for somebody, have to do with like learning the sex of a baby, not with intercourse. So maybe somebody's having like a reveal, or it could even be like a slip, like maybe the doctor reveals it or somebody reveals it and you didn't necessarily want to know, but there it is. Anyway, also 29. So spiritual partnership of some sort. Could be romantic, doesn't have to be. It could be a business, right? You go into some sort of spiritually based business, or you know, you intuitively, because you paid attention to your spirit, enter a situation, a partnership with somebody else, or a friendship or something like that. That can also be the case. And no, Spirit says no for some reason. Now, looking at these cards that I'm starting with, which is the Two of Swords from the Rider-Waite deck. Care required from the Fortune Cookies. Flowers from the Life Purpose Oracle. The Four of Wands from the Angel and Animal Tarots. I think that some of you, if you have something like special going on, like maybe a pregnancy, a birth of a baby, or engagement, marriage, entering some sort of commitment, or some of you who just have a decision to make about something that would make you happy, bring your life joy, maybe stability, success, could have someone in your ear, someone that tries to like steal your joy, someone that tries to like steal the moment. Like I don't know, you're getting married and somebody tries to make them, gives themselves more attention than the bride. I don't know how you would do that, you know, but something like that. Like somebody trying to steal your joy, steal your moment, or ruin it, act up in some kind of way, throw things off, ruin it because of jealousy, or because they think, again, if you have, those of you who have a decision to make, they think the decision, like what you're going to make to make you happy, is something that they're against or that they don't want for you. Could just be that they don't want to see you that happy. You know, misery loves company. Or they feel like that decision will take you away from them. They'll lose you as a friend or something. I actually saw a commercial very briefly today that was on that, I think it was about that show where the young men are too attached to their mothers. Well, maybe it's not only young men. Maybe it's anybody. I think it's young men only, though. In any case, I've never watched it, so this is guessing. But too attached to their mothers. Yeah, Mama's Boys. They're Mama's Boys. I think that's what the name of the show is, Mama's Boys. And this, I perceived her to be Indian mother and son with a Asian, like Chinese or some girlfriend. The son, the boyfriend, he just wouldn't speak up about anything. So the daughter, the girlfriend, was telling him to go ahead and spit it out and tell his mother that she was moving in with her, that he was moving in with her. So he was planning on moving in with the girlfriend. And the mother said, like, absolutely not. Like, I gave birth to you. You will live with me forever. You know, so like a decision, something, I'm not saying it's going to be that extreme for other people, but something that would make you happy, that someone else is getting in the way of you deciding to go that route, or trying to get in the way of it. It's something that would bring you joy. It could have to do with living together, cohabitation. Four of Wands is often about that, about like hearth and home. You know, and it should be something celebratory, but this person is in the way. Guard yourself against deception and be careful of making foolish mistakes at this time. And then also upright behind that is friendship. A friend needs your help, your kindness, and excellent counseling skills will put them back on track. So maybe it's possible that there's an opportunity to help somebody who's going through a situation like this, where somebody is trying to get them to do something other than what would make them happy, what would bring them joy in their life. And you maybe show them that they have the wherewithal, the ability to do whatever it is they want to do, you know, and not like worry about other people, not let other people, you know, dictate how their life goes. There's magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. You may be, or a person may be a Gemini specifically. We also have the Four of Swords immediately behind that. So we got two fours. Fours are about foundations, right? Well, so things like your home, your life, your work, matters of the earthly a lot can be about decision that we have to make. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers you seek. So if you take it to, you know, the spiritual route, the next card is the Knight of Swords, but it's in reverse, followed by Major Arcana card 8, Justice, also in reverse. So again, person involved is an air sign. I would say Gemini first, then Libra, according to the cards, and then Aquarius in that order. Ooh. Death just fell away. Death represents the sign of Scorpio. It's about transition, transformation, moving into a new phase, not trying to cling to old status quo. So that may be, you know, wow. Where is it? Okay. So I opened to the Queen of Cups, which also represents the sign of Scorpio most directly. And that's where I threw the Death card. And behind that is the Hierophant, which can be about commitments, things like cohabitation, moving together, engagement, marriage, contracts. And the Towers behind it in reverse, followed by another Knight of Swords, also in reverse. But definitely have meaning for somebody. Look, open now to the Devil. Somebody around you doesn't mean you well, it seems, for somebody. This message is. Major Arcana card, the Devil, most directly represents the sign of Capricorn. And it is about feeling stuck, or again, clinging to things that you need to let go of. Feelings if you have no option, no choice but to do that. It can be about somebody in your cipher that is maybe even using some sort of dark something against you. Does not mean you well. Behind that, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So it could be somebody that's jealous of, again, your growth, your success, especially with the Wheel of Fortune also upright behind that. Here we have somebody needing to fend off other people and to defend themselves and their decisions. Could definitely go all together. Also, as I mentioned, this, you know, in a more innocent sense, this card does represent the sign of Capricorn, as do Pentacles potentially, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So this could be about, Capricorn is known as like the workhorse of the zodiac. They work very hard, typically. People live under the sign of Capricorn. And so this could be success. This could be you, and you having to be the one to ward off or defend yourself against others who, again, who are jealous about your success and your growth. Knight of Pentacles now, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn again. Someone liking to those traits or attributes, very possibly. Slowly, steadily, consistently moving toward goals. Nine of Cups also can be about reaching goals, success, dreams coming true, wishes being granted. Queen of Pentacles now. Also, 10 of Pentacles. I don't know if you're noticing, but a lot of these cards have been in reverse also. Seven of Pentacles is now our overall energy for this deck, followed by the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles for me, you know, it's one of, those of you who watch me know, it's not one of my favorite cards. It tends to be about clinging to something, holding on to something, that Capricorn devil energy that we don't need, that doesn't mean us well, like staying in a relationship with somebody, you know, that we know is going nowhere fast. It's toxic, you know, it's unhealthy, whatever. And just staying there because of, you know, finding some excuse, some reason. Well, we split the rent, so, you know, if I break up with him or her, how am I going to pay my... Let the universe help you with that. Do it through manifestation. You know, don't leave yourself in an unhealthy situation because of something like rent. A bountiful time awaits you. Your wishes could manifest right before your eyes. But you have to, you know, believe in that. And you have to use that magician energy that we saw in order to make those sort of things happen. Tough and trying times. Tough times ahead. Think long term. Make decisions accordingly. Avoid negative people at all costs. Those messages that I get at the beginning before I even do anything, you know, often permeate through the reading. Declutter. Declutter your life. Let go of correspondence, objects, and people that you no longer want. Someone will hurt your feelings and reveal a new side of themselves that you may wish to avoid. And again, it could be somebody who just doesn't, they don't really mean you well. Even if this is somebody you consider a friend. Like one of my exes, his best friend, we, you know, found out kind of after the fact. And I'm not regretful about it because you know, I feel like ultimately things tend to happen as they were meant. You know, something had to cause the breakup. We weren't meant to be together, at least not at that time, whatever. So that's fine with me. But how we got there is because of a friend, his best friend, that, or who, was in his ear about reasons why we couldn't be successful if we were together. Why he should, you know, leave me alone, stay away from me. Because the friend liked me also. That was one thing. And also, on top of that, the friend didn't want to lose him. Like, well, if he starts, like, dating her, if they get back together, I'm never going to see him. I'm never going to whatever. So it can be something selfish like that, from another person. That causes you, or maybe someone close to you, to not necessarily make decisions that are best for them. Anyway, sexuality. Existing relationships could find a new passion and heighten sexual attraction. This may go along with the sex die for some of us. It could actually mean sex is coming. Opportunities for marriage and good family life are strong. But if single, beware of temptation that could lead to trouble. That could also be tied to the devil. Right? Devil can represent temptation big time. A child will also bring great joy. Maybe the child that I heard about when I was at the beginning of the reading, when I said I heard something about a gender reveal. Okay. Life Purpose Oracle. Again, begin with flowers. Opening to light and love. Your purpose is to bring divine healing light and love to this world. Let go. Walk away from this situation in order to resolve it. That seems to be on theme so far for the direction it appears this reading is going. Engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area of life. It could even be something like this, like you want to be an artist and somebody's saying, no, you should be a doctor. You want to pursue your art career, and they're saying, well, you know, you're not even that good. You want to take a risk. And, you know, people that downplay... I'm not saying we shouldn't be honest with people, with our loved ones. I'm not saying we shouldn't be honest with our loved ones. Like if you really feel that somebody doesn't have the talent required and you're trying to protect them from getting hurt. But even then, I think there's a way to say it, and there's a way to express that. And there's a way to do it in a way that you make somebody, you know, lose confidence in themselves and maybe even respect for themselves and all of that, you know. where it's like more like bullying. Anyway, environmentalists. You're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture, and teach about nature and the animals. I'll do one more. And it's time to decide, again, on trend for our reading thus far. Make a decision based on your heart's true desires. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Make a decision based on your heart's desires, true desires, not somebody else's, not what somebody's in your ear telling you. Counseling. You heal with kind words, wise advice, and an empathetic ear. That could be that same friend, or that could be us towards somebody else, you know, based on that card that said friendship. Somebody needs you. Somebody needs your advice. Somebody needs your empathy, your support. So, or this could be coming to you. Or both, right? Okay, just putting the ones that we looked at in random places. So if they pop up again, you saw me mix them up, so they were meant to, and not just were there on the surface. We're putting stuff on the top. We're putting stuff, well, this flipped over. Ace of Pentacles. You can expect a windfall of abundance, such as money, timely assistance, a serendipitous meeting, or rewarding advice. There's that advice again, that support. You may be offered, rather, a fabulous new job or promotion, or the prospect of a profitable business venture or investment. Throw him in there. Also, the Page of Wands, outgoing, creative, confident, and mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. We put those two cards together, the Page of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. It means if you're presented with an opportunity, you should take it this week. It will be lucrative for you. Page of Wands also representative of potentially from whom the offer is coming, or maybe your own energy and sign, possibly an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, or maybe Jupiter, maybe Mars helping you. Maybe Chiron, the wounded healer, located in, I don't know what made me just do that, but we got the King of Cups for somebody. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. King of Cups, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Behind that, we have the Five of Swords. So somebody could be in the King of Cups ears, or maybe in the past, I'm getting, they were in the King of Cups ears, and that threw him off. He is potentially a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Very generous, very loving, very romantic. But with this Five of Swords, your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome, so why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. I'm saying maybe it's in the past because it is behind him, this card. So maybe it occurred in the past. Eight of Wands, about movement. Movement may have been stifled. It can also be about communication, things buzzing, somebody buzzing in your ear with misinformation or hurtful information or something to throw off your game. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. And it's another Two of Swords. So we're talking potentially about an opportunity that arose or will arise to make a decision that is best for oneself that maybe somebody else tried to ruin. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. Second time you heard that message, and I haven't even laid any cards yet. We're just shuffling. There's justice again, revealing itself. The next card that's behind that that's upright is Major Arcana card 20, Judgment, which is about second chances, second time around. So maybe you're getting a chance to right this wrong that occurred here. Or you will be presented with a chance to then make a decision to right or wrong before it happens. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and to make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited to you, not to somebody else, to you. Forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. Then we have the Sun, more of that Sagittarius energy potential, the Page of Wands, more Jupiter. And things, light being shed on something, something coming to light, something being revealed. Like when me and my ex found out that his friend had been a hater all that time. Okay, it came up and we laughed about it after the fact. But we realized, hey, we're not together because of him. Anyway, your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments that you so richly deserved. And Two of Cups. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. This Two of Cups can also be representative of a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a business connection, whatever, that again was in jeopardy or is in jeopardy, that we have time to salvage. We have an opportunity to fix, to save, if we, do the right thing to reverse this. This is, where we're walking down the wrong path, where we're maybe listening to people and things that we shouldn't. Another 10 of Pentacles there. Let me finish picking up the rest of these cards. King of Swords. Ace of Cups. Guess that's what we're meant to have there. Because I never do it with the cards facing me when I do this. So anyway, here's our overall. Oh, look what and it's followed by the Page of Cups also. But then by a Tower and the Page of Earth. Okay. Ace of Cups, falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Page of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, again, sensitive, kind, open-hearted, inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new relationship or a close platonic friendship. Like I said, it could be a friendship, could be a business relationship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event as well. Now, maybe that will cause a shakeup in your life. Doesn't look like a bad thing. We have more decision time here. Doesn't look like a bad thing. Something also that could be a shakeup, again, in your financial life. And maybe a positive one. Like we just saw the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. So an opportunity could come up. Whoa! And then that leads to some sort of abundance coming into you. A significant life event. A powerful revelation that leads to change. It is time to spread your wings. Could have something to do with a home, a property, also a tower sometimes represents actual tower structure building. Page of Pentacles, scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging and maybe even a new area of study. This week, the card that most directly represents us is, it's that Five of Wands, defending ourselves and fending off, I don't know, haters, bullshit, lies, temptation, all the stuff we just saw. Negative energy. Surrounding energies, close friends, family members, co-workers. Six of Wands. So for one thing, it could be seen as a progression, like starting out with this kind of energy, moving into better energy, that is successful. This could be triumph over these people, over the people that cause this kind of energy. Work and finance, death and reverse. Love and relationship, Six of Swords. Physical health, Seven of Wands. Again, defending yourself, protecting yourself from something or someone. And spiritual health. Justice. Starting with our overall energy of the Seven of Pentacles. So, looking at the other cards that are pretty promising in terms of like something going from maybe a difficult situation or something that we were dealing with to improving, right? They all seem to have that kind of energy. So I think that it's going to take like one of the most traditional meanings of the card, which is like a return on investment. You know, it's going to be literal, like a bank account, you know, returning money to you, maybe a savings account, you get, or a cash back bonus or something, or investment paying off, like, you know, like a stock, whatever, or something, again, in property, you know, paying off, but also energy that you've put into a relationship, you know. It's just about reaping what you've sown, and it's typically positive. I mean, obviously we can reap what we've sown, and if what we've sown is bullshit, that's what we can reap also. But if we, you know, try to put good energy out, then that should be what we're getting back this week. And I think that's going to be, for the most part, what this card is about. I mean, it also has to do with, you know, patience and allowing something to take form and all of that as well. And that may, you know, also play a role. In general, we should be feeling more secure than we have maybe in a while, and things should be moving along well, and we should be feeling hopeful about the future. You know, it's like with good cause, we're probably going to see some sort of evidence as to why we should feel hopeful about the future. It could have to do with a decision we've made. You know, we keep seeing that we're going to need to make some sort of decision this week that may have to do with a major life event, as the Tower card said. So you may have to decide like whether to put your energy into things, people, situations, you know, that you're already involved with, or whether to spend your energy trying to bring, you know, something new or more into your life. And you know, it's important to choose wisely. With work, tends to be, you know, again, pretty straightforward, reaping what you've sown. With love and relationship, it's possible that the love and relationship of a person that you're interested in, that you have your heart set on, is going well, and so they won't be looking for you. If you're not in a committed relationship, then, you know, you should be open to other possibilities. And it's important, like when this card shows up in love, to remember that, you know, there are many soulmates and many different types of soulmate, and many potential soulmates that we're meant to have in a lifetime for whatever reason. So it just may not be the time and space for that other person. You know, similar to what I was saying before about like me and my ex, like, you know, how I was fine with it because obviously we weren't meant for that time and space. How it came about, or how that was revealed to us, was fucked up, and having a friend that would do something like that to you is fucked up, and so you address that. But, you know, it's two separate things. We still have the situation that something had to occur for us to not be together, because obviously we weren't meant to in this time and space, and that's okay, right? I'll find another soulmate for now. You'll find another soulmate for now, or, you know. So that's kind of like what this card is about in terms of love and relationship. So I'm going to move on to the card that's most directly representing us this week. That, you know, so that could be like the thing that most of us are having to deal with in one way or another. And the Five of Wands is often about work, and it could definitely be about work here when we have the Death card showing up in work and finance. And I think we had the Death card last week too, but it was upright. And I said for some of us, there was somebody at our job that was, you know, trying it. Like maybe trying to set us up, trying to get rid of us, trying to, you know, make our lives miserable. And or the job could go, you could be trying to hold on to this job, and, you know, maybe you won't be able to anymore. Like for whatever reason, you could be end up out of a job, not by anything necessarily having to do with your fault. Anyway, let me get back to the Five of Wands. So I started to say all that because it's often about the work or career. So maybe your job or your actual focus, you know, the area of interest or whatever. Sometimes it can also have to do with romantic rivals, like maybe an ex's best friend that also likes you. It's important to not be afraid of competing and to know that you have something to offer and can be successful. Boom, 6 of Wands, right? In general, when it appears, it's like your need to believe in yourself is stronger than ever, right now. And so I talked already about people saying and doing things to cause others to like lose their confidence in themselves. It's like bullying. So be careful of that. Hold your head up and, have faith that you will end up in the place that's right for you, where you're meant to be, whatever that means, even if it means don't end up with that soulmate or whatever in that time and space. Maybe thinking of making some sort of career change right now, which also coincides with the Death card in reverse, and know that it can be successful if that's what, where you're going with it, what you're thinking. Specific to work, you could be facing some sort of competition there. You play your cards right, you can, be successful. Boom, as I already said. And I said this placement represents, right, close friends, co-workers, family members. So you could topple a co-worker. You could be successful over a co-worker that is competing against you for work. Maybe you guys are up for the same promotion or same bonus or whatever. And it depends on, who comes up. There was a friendly competition. I was watching Porn Stars yesterday. The show about when you go in with and pawn stuff or sell it to them, they look into things and determine how much money they're owed. And it's not something that I watch regularly, but whatever. I happen to be watching it. And the grandfather, which I'd never seen before, maybe because, again, it's not something that I watch regularly, was on it. And he was like going in on all of them, including the father, who I thought was, the only person in charge. And saying that like they're not making enough commission on all the stuff. Like they're not making enough profit. The profit margin wasn't large enough for the things. Like, so they maybe can sell something for $300 and they were giving the person that brought it to them $200. And it's like that, that's not enough money. Like we need to, the gap, the profit margin needs to be bigger. So, he gave them like it was a healthy competition. Whoever does like the most sales this month or whatever, I'm giving you a $500 bonus. So the 2 brothers went out to compete. So it could be something like that too. That's positive, that you're, looking forward to competing, or it could be, with somebody or something is shady and, trying to claim that they performed the work, so that they'll get the promotion. Really it was you. So just watch out for stuff like that. Love and relationship, the person that you have your eye on, it's possible they're being pursued by several people, or, this could be happening to you. Maybe you will find yourself in a position where there's a lot of people that are interested in you this week. We don't necessarily see that. I mean, there's no high priestess here. There's no empress here, but we can still have that. You can still be the hot commodity. Whatever's the case, give it your best shot. If there's somebody that you want, or something that you want to change in your relationship, go for it. And, you need to know that you've done all that you can do for this relationship where your heart is involved. And so, whatever happens, happens. And, we're accepting of that. Again, this can also work, in the other way and mean that you're going to be pursued by several people romantically. And, so that can be interesting for some. If you're interested in that, if you're up for it, make sure they put their best foot forward. May the best man or woman win, as they say. All right, so moving on to the 6 of Wands. In general, the card is about happiness, celebration, like seeing results for hard work and efforts. Again, this is where we're putting the hard work and effort. We're putting it in. This is where we're reaping the rewards. So, goes nicely with our overall energy of the 7 of Pentacles. We should give ourselves a break or treat ourselves in some way if we can this week, because this card is saying that we have earned it. Maybe there's somebody close to you that you want to treat, you want to celebrate them, you want to take them out to lunch, you want to whatever, because they have, they put in the work and they're getting the results of something. Whether it's, exercise and they lost weight, or whether it's something having to do with their job, they worked hard, or school, they worked hard, they're getting a scholarship, they graduate, whatever the case is, you may want to celebrate somebody around you, close to you too. It's also like in general, like a positive omen. It can be like, despite challenges that we're facing, we will overcome. So even if you're facing challenges, you're facing difficulty, like don't let yourself sink into that place like, oh, you know, it's all over. I've you know, if you are like claim the energy of defeat, you claim yourself to be defeated, then you probably will be. You know what I mean? But it's about remaining positive, and especially if you're sort of paying attention to the energies based on this reading, you know that it's important for you to stay up this week. You know, keep those energies up. The card points to literal and, you know, or metaphoric movement and change in a positive way and direction. Work and finance. So maybe dealing with some sort of unhappiness or whatever in your work life, whether it has to do with another person or something else that's going on at the job, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't ignore these feelings. It means that you should, you know, definitely give, actually, it means the opposite. You should definitely give consideration to whatever it is you're feeling, and make some sort of assessment of it, and then maybe even a decision. When the card's in reverse, it tells us that it's important for us not to necessarily blame others. Although with the upright meaning, as I mentioned before, it can be that there is somebody actively, you know, like up to no good at the workplace. But, you know, you're going to probably benefit most, and this is true when it's upright as well, of a complete change of field if you're up to it, if you're up for, you know, a new job. So, like, if you're interested in doing anything, like in getting out, I want to start my own business, I'm thinking, but should I not? That could be the major decision that's coming up for you this week. And the cards say, make the leap, okay? And know that you can, again, be successful. You can do it. In terms of finances specifically, there may be some changes coming in your financial situation, and that we should not be afraid about. We may need to be prudent in some way, you know, how we spend and what we're spending on, and when and where our resources are, and when they're coming in, and what our resources are. When will we have access to them? Are they liquid? Are they, you know, is it some sort of asset? That means, like, if there is a downturn in your finances, then you know that you've done your best to protect yourself, and you know you'll reap what you've sown in that regard. And it's temporary, right? Something that's temporary. Do your part, all will be well for you. The card on its own says that we shouldn't expect like windfalls out of just thin air this week or with this energy. But at the same time, we've also seen a lot of cards that indicate abundance coming this week. So the change in the financial situation could be, you know, to something that's really awesome rather than a downturn. Love and relationship, the Six of Swords. So this means we need some sort of change of scenery, right? The Six of Swords can be about traveling, movement, both literal and metaphoric. If you're already in a relationship, you may want to, you know, take your beloved on a trip or join them on a trip. Even if it's just like down the street to the local hotel, whatever, it's a staycation, or, you know, you bring your camping equipment out into the living room and you do that staycation, or, you know, you go to the park for a picnic or whatever is affordable and feasible for you and you have time for doing it, you know, just something of that nature. If you're single and looking for love, and this card points to a need to get out of your usual routine, right? To switch it up a bit. You know, the places you normally hang out and go, and where you expect to meet people, and the manners in which you expect to meet people. Like, oh, I do online dating. Well, maybe you should try in-person dating this week. Maybe you should try getting out to, like, the, you know, a bar, restaurant, social club, lounge, and meeting people in person rather than online, or vice versa. If you always do it that way, maybe this week you should try online dating. You know, that's what the card is trying to encourage you guys to do. Physical health. Now, the first thing I saw, I have to be honest with you, I saw like a back up off me kind of energy from this card. I mean, it's the Seven of Wands. The guy's holding a wand in front of himself, like protecting himself. And so it could be something literal for us. You know, we're in this time of COVID. You could need to protect your health by making sure people back up off you. You know, keep your 6 feet, or don't spit on me, don't breathe on me. It could be something like that. It could be more metaphoric than literal. Like maybe, like in Texas, for example, my body, my choice, like don't impede upon me. Don't, you know, back up off me, basically. You know, so whether we're talking about abortions or we're talking about vaccines and who wants one and who doesn't, it's about you being able to make the choice either way, as well as companies, private organizations, being able to make the choice either way, whether or not they, you know, support one or the other as well. Everybody having rights. So it could be very, you know, straightforward in terms of that, you know, like almost literal. But in terms of the card, it talks about anxiety probably being like one of our biggest problems right now. And that can be what leads to like lack of confidence and stuff, right? Just being, you know, being really nervous and just not sure you're on the right path and that kind of thing. So you may have physical symptoms of it. It's possible. And if you do, don't ignore them. It's important, though, to understand like the mind and body connection. That's like the biggest message from these. If you're having some sort of symptoms, get them checked out. And, you know, if you're given a clean bill of health by a trustworthy, you know, medical professional, whomever it is you entrust yourself to, then, you know, it's time to consider whether your thoughts, are, how do I say this? It's time to consider maybe the thoughts themselves as well as like your spirituality. I was trying to come up with a way to say maybe it has something to do with the spiritual realm. Sometimes these kind of feelings, heart palpitations and all of this stuff can be connected to ascension and things too. And I was noticing, I was looking at this, the numbers on the cards. We got a lot of pairs. We got 2 major arcana cards. And we got one that represents mother and one that represents father. Right? Father, mother. We have 2 sixes. 6s are about equity, equality, love, relationship. So talking about equity and equality in terms of one's body and things, right? Women's rights, women having the same rights as men, men not being in charge of what we do with our vaginas or our uteruses is huge. Men not being arrested in Texas for having impregnating a woman, but a woman being pregnant that doesn't want to be pregnant, being, you know, arrested for seeking help, even if he raped her, even if she's a child, a minor, and he's a pedo. You know, I have a lot of problems with this stuff that's going on over there. And it could be something like that, right? Representing a lack of equity. 6s are about equity, equality, love. And then we got 2 7s. God, right? The divine, the universe, maybe stepping in for us to provide us with that justice that we need. So all of that, it could, your spiritual, your physical and spiritual health very much could be tied together this week. But speaking specifically about the spirituality now, and moving on to Major Arcana card Justice, this card means it's time to, you know, work on being grounded. Like, do we feel connected to Mother Nature, to the earth, to our fellow man? Or are we feeling that like we're in the world, but not necessarily of the world, of this world, right? I'm sure if you're watching my channel, it's very possible that you feel that way. But balance is a major theme of Major Arcana card Justice. You see she has the scales of what some people call the scales of justice, but what many call the scales of balance sitting here, which Ma'at would use to weigh, to balance your sins, basically, against your good behavior and determine where you go. Like, do you go to Hades or hell or the underworld or whatever you want to call it? Or do you go to a more paradise type of plane? So anyway, scales of balance. So this balance is a huge message as it relates to Major Arcana card Justice, and it's the theme here. So working on keeping a proper perspective about life, trying to reach that, will help us to remain centered. And I think a lot of that has to do with this sort of, it's okay attitude. And I understand that all of us are not there yet, and that's okay. But when you reach the point where you literally mean it, when you say, it is what it is, it's like nothing can ruffle your feathers. People can walk in and out of your life, and it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine, and you know it. It's like, once you reach that point, how can anybody really wrong you? How can anything really wrong you? So it has to do with all of that, getting that together. All right, let's see what the other cards have to say. So joining the card that's most directly representing us this week, we have the Five of Wands here, and we have children. Your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. So for some of us, we could be fighting or disagreeing, right, with members of our family. For me, when I read the Five of Wands, I say it all the time, if it's not about one's self being conflicted, then it's usually conflict with close friends and or family. The traditional tarot meaning is most closely associated with work, but I always say that. So yeah, so family in terms of maybe our siblings could be who we're having some problems with, our child's other parent, our children's other parent, some sort of family member involving children is very possible. I'm also getting something about like somebody that's been competing with you or against you, trying to one-up you since you were children. So some of us may have a friend like that, or again, it may be an actual relative who's like that, and just always trying to come out on top of us. But again, there's a time for us to be the one who is successful. And atop that Six of Wands, we're getting sensitivity. You're becoming more sensitive and need to make changes accordingly. So this is what I was just talking about here in terms of like learning to understand how the universe works and how things work, and that it's okay. And once you do that, it helps you to be a winner. It really does. Work and finance, joining death, we have support. Your life purpose fully support you. So if you want to stay in this job, fine. You want to look for another job, fine. You're ready to leap, fine. Your life purpose and the universe basically has got you, is what that card means. Love and relationship. Change of scenery. We've got books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. For somebody that's going to be meeting somebody at like a library, at like a book club, at a Barnes and Nobles, maybe at the Starbucks that's located inside. For somebody that's already in a committed relationship, but you're looking for a change of scenery, it could have something to do with books. Maybe you go to listen to some sort of reading, or you go to like some sort of launch party. I forgot what it's called, but I have a friend that's an author, and when he comes out with a new book, he has these parties that he invites everybody to. So it could be something like that. And it's getting out and being social, or, choosing a book to read together that's doing something different from your norm, switching up the energy and what you guys focus on, joining a book club together, all those things. Or something where you can learn like a skill. I don't know. I just saw people crocheting or knitting or something. And I don't know what that has to do with books. Maybe reading about it and learning how to do it, or having somebody teaching you how to do this together as a couple. Physical health, joining the Seven of Wands in reverse. We have speaker. Your life purpose involves your skills of oration. Maybe telling people, being able to express yourself and saying, again, back up off me, or my body, my, rights. And spiritual health. We have energy healing. Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of life. So this is about you being able, again, to restore balance. Doesn't that look like what she's trying to do here? Like she's trying to restore her balance and get some chi going the way she's meditating here. So that is for our spiritual health. And from the fortune cookies, we have luck. A sudden change of luck is likely. Things are working in your favor. Excellent time for networking. Or again, for finally, succeeding against this challenger. For this placement of friends, family, coworkers, or surrounding energy, we have romance. Love is set to sizzle. The chance for romance is high for those seeking a connection. So that goes good with the Six of Wands too. For work and finance, we have intuition. Trust your intuition. It's a great time to learn a new skill, to change careers, or to invest money. Boom. Love and relationship. Major life change. The time is right to make major life changes as a new lifestyle or location. And I say change of scenery, moving your location, switching things up. That's going to bring great joy and a trouble-free existence to you in your love life. Physical health, joining speaker and the Seven of Wands in reverse, we have sunshine. The sun is shining on you, your career and business growth. Fabulous communication in relationships. So being able to express yourself, stand up for yourself, let people know when they should come close and when they should back the hell up. And last but not least, spiritual health, we have nature. So like being grounded, being in nature, or thinking Mother Nature, Venus, Libra, balance. Interact with nature in the outdoors, around animals, farmlands, or by the ocean. And this will be good for the soul. It's soul healing for you. Hope you guys have enjoyed this week's reading. I enjoyed bringing it. I got the love and I got a moon coming up. But first, for those of you who want to stick around, I'm going to talk about what else is going on this week. Hang on one sec while I get my computer. Turning it on. Logging in. Okay, I don't know why it came on quietly today. Maybe I don't have my sound on, but it's on. Just so you know. All right. Oh. Wasn't that weird? I promise you, I was already looking at the screen. That was like a delayed reaction. Okay. Christian calendar. Here we go. This week, nothing on the 5th, 6th, or 7th, but on the 8th, we celebrate the birth of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And of course, we don't believe that this is the correct date, or we know that it's not the correct date. But this is the date that the Pope, at some point, the Catholic Church, at some point, decided we should celebrate it on. So that's what we're doing. And we'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. There's nothing on the 9th, 10th, or 11th. So that's the one feast day we're going to discuss is the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary this week. You know what? Let's just do that now. Let's get it out the way. So for this, I've gone to www.franciscanmedia.org. The church has celebrated Mary's birth since at least the 6th century. We know 6 is associated with Mary. A September birth was chosen. They're telling you themselves. Okay? They're being honest about it. It was chosen because the Eastern Church begins its church year with September. Okay? The September 8th date helped to determine the date for the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. December 8th. They just counted back 9 months. You know, if she's being born on this day, then her mother must have gotten pregnant with her on December 8th. Scripture does not give an account of Mary's birth. That's not true. There are books of Mary. I've read some of them to you. I own them. I own copies. However, the apocryphal, and this is something in Latin, I'm not going to read, something of James, fills in the gap. Okay, the books of Mary also fill in the gap. This work has no historical value, maybe not to you, but it does reflect the development of Christian piety. According to this account, Anna and Joachim are infertile, but pray for a child. They receive the promise of a child who will advance God's plan of salvation for the world. Such a story, like many biblical counterparts, stresses the special presence of God in Mary's life from the very beginning. St. Augustine connects Mary's birth with Jesus' saving work. He tells the earth to rejoice and to shine forth in the light of her birth. She is the flower of the field from whom bloomed the precious lily of the valley. Through her birth, the nature inherited from our first parents is changed. Quote, the opening prayer at Mass speaks of the birth of Mary's Son as the dawn of our salvation and asks for an increase of peace, end quote. Reflection. We can see every human birth as a call for new hope in the world. The love of two human beings has joined with God in his creative work. The loving parents have shown hope in a world filled with travail. So maybe that's why I saw the thing about the reveal. Oh, maybe it was something like maybe it would be revealed to somebody that they're pregnant, like what happened with Mary. I don't know. Don't start me to lying. Also, maybe that's another meaning for children. Okay, children showing up here. And it's showing up here on top of the Five of Wands, so it could be tied to this. Some of us becoming pregnant and not wanting to be, pregnant. Maybe the way we got pregnant was not right. Maybe it was through abuse or some sort of something. Whatever the case is. So we may not want to. Or we could be sort of anxious about it, caught off guard, and, confused. And that could be another meaning for somebody. All right, anyway. The new child has the potential to be a channel of God's love and peace to the world. This is all true in a magnificent way for Mary. If Jesus is the perfect expression of God's love, then Mary is the foreshadowing of that love. If Jesus has brought the fullness of salvation, Mary is its dawning. Birthday celebrations bring happiness to the celebrant as well as to family and friends. Next to the birth of Jesus, Mary's birth offers the greatest possible happiness to the world. Each time we celebrate her birth, we can confidently hope for an increase of peace in our hearts and in the world at large. So those were the Christian feast days. On the Hebrew or Jewish calendar this week, we've got a lot of stuff. So nothing on the 5th or 6th, but on the 7th, it's like the whole kit and caboodle. On the 7th, Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. And it's also the first day of repentance, meaning the first day counting toward the 16th of September, which is Yom Kippur, the most spiritual day, basically, on the Hebrew calendar. And of course, it is a day of repentance. It is a day of atonement. There's another name for it. But every day up to it for, I think it's 10 days, if I remember correctly. I think it's 10 days, is a day of repentance. So the 7th is the first one. It's also day 1 of the Hebrew month of Tishrai for the year 5782. Why is this interesting? Well, for me, because you guys know I'm a number weirdo, 5782 equals 1304 or 1111. Now, why is this even more exciting and interesting? Because I've also shared with you in the past that for the Muslim year, when we had their New Year back in August, we moved into year 1443, or 444. And for the rest of us on the Gregorian calendar, when we have our new year after December 31st, we're going to enter the year 222. So it's going to be 222, 444, 1111. All at the same damn time. You only hear that on this channel because nobody else's mind works like that. Especially these other tarot readers. Their minds don't work like mine, right? So no one else probably cares. But I find it interesting. Maybe some of you guys do too. Anyway, so all those things, Rosh Hashanah, the first day of repentance, and the first day of Tishrai, all occurring on the 7th. And then every day during the week on the calendar is another day of repentance, again, counting up toward Yom Kippur, which is next week on the 16th. Yeah, let's get into that. I'll just go straight into that. So Rosh Hashanah literally means the head of the year. It's the Jewish New Year, and the biblical name for this holiday is Yom Teruah, which literally means a day of shouting or blasting. It is the first of the Jewish high holy days specified by Leviticus 23:23 through 32, which is interesting to me too. 23:23, you know, more of these repeating numbers, through 32. So it's 5, 5, 5, right? That occurs early in the autumn of the Northern Hemisphere. So here in our area, there's going to be a series, like a season of high holy days in the Jewish calendar, beginning now with Rosh Hashanah. So, Yom Kippur, I'll just to explain what all the days of repentance are about, is the purpose of Yom Kippur is to effect individual and collective purification by the practice of forgiveness of sins of others and by sincere repentance for one's own sins against God. So again, this year it will be observed on Thursday, September 16th. So we'll talk about it more next week. And now for the Hebrew month of Tishrai, I have gone to www.shabbat.org to let you know what they say rather than giving it to you off the top of my head. Tishrai, or Tishri, is the first month of the Jewish year. It's the 7th month when counting from Nisan. And it's full of momentous and meaning days of celebration, beginning with the high holidays. In this month, we celebrate Rosh Hashanah, the 10 days of repentance, okay, I was correct about that, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Simchat Torah. Each one is filled with its own meaningful customs and rituals. Some are serious, awesome days set aside to reflect and for soul searching, and some are joyous days full of happy and cheerful celebration. But all of these days throughout the month of Tishrai are opportunities to connect, to be inspired, and to become more fulfilled and in tune with our true inner selves. Tishrai is considered the head of the year and is the reservoir from which we draw our strength and inspiration throughout the year ahead. So that's the Hebrew calendar. Nothing on the Muslim calendar that I'm going to talk about this week. On the Hindu calendar, I'll probably incorporate this into my new moon reading for Virgo. So that I never even did a video last week that I intended to do, because that like vision that I had just took me into all kinds of research books. And also maybe that's something too that a couple will do, you know, toward maybe something that they have in common, whether that's their spirituality or something else, you know, research or whatever. But yeah, it took me so, and then I have clients in India. So one in particular just shared like so many stories with me in addition to what I was, you know, finding and reading on my own. And so, I never did anything further with, Vishnu or, Krishna, but I had somehow in my mind, like switched focus to Ganesha. who is the child of, well, I won't get into all of that right now, but it's what focus to Ganesha. And Ganesha does actually have some feast days, I guess, for lack of a better word, this week. So maybe I'll incorporate them into the moon reading. Also, my client thought that this week we would also be on the Hindu calendar, be celebrating Mahalaya Amavasya, but I actually found that that is next month's new moon. That occurs on Wednesday, October 6th. So this month on the 6th, we also have a new moon at 8:52 p.m., the new moon in Virgo, 14 degrees Virgo. On September 10th at 4:39 p.m., Venus enters Scorpio. So she's currently located in Libra, right? Maybe that's why our spirituality is in that direction. But on the September 10th at 4:39 p.m., she will enter Scorpio at 0 degrees Scorpio. September 11th is the Ethiopian New Year. I just thought to mention that just now. So I didn't prepare anything to read to you or explain to you about the Ethiopian New Year. Maybe I'll incorporate that as well into the moon reading. Yeah. Of course, many of us also know 9/11 to be, an American, not necessarily holiday, but day. I actually think it should be a federal holiday. I don't think anybody should have to go to work or anything on 9/11, but that's another story. But it's a day of acknowledgement, for the terrorist attacks that occurred here in 2001. Some of you may know I myself am a 9/11 survivor. When I lost my dad, it was to a 9/11 related condition. And actually his name will be among the list of names read on September 12th at the Tunnel to Towers event. Tunnel to Towers is an event an organization that was started in honor of a fireman who heard, I guess, from Brooklyn that there was something going on at the Trade Center. The noise could be heard from there. And with all his gear on, literally ran from Brooklyn to Manhattan through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to the tower. So that's why the organization is called Tunnel to Towers. And they have a Tunnel to Towers event, and they have a reading of names on the 12th of all the people who died, not on that day itself, but since then as a result of 9/11 related conditions. So I have been asked to be a reader at that event, and my father's name will be among those that are read. So that is another thing. So anybody else, lost family members, loved ones, friends on 9/11, or yourselves are a survivor like myself or first responder, thoughts and prayers for what they're worth from me to you will be with you. Okay. Let's talk about Venus and Scorpio. For this, I've gone to www.tarot.com. Venus and Scorpio, intense, passionate, committed. The Black Widow, the mistress, skeletons in your romantic closet, secretive about money and love, a sexy, magnetic, deliciously irresistible, intimate encounter, a healing and transforming bonding experience. Venus in Scorpio has the power to elicit all of this and more. Astrology considers Scorpio to be a tough placement for beautiful and sweet Venus. Scorpio isn't considered with superficiality and prefers chasing after a transcendental kind of love. The Scorpion likes to get below the surface to examine issues of power, fear, sex, and desire. When Venus enters Scorpio on November 21st, 2020, that was the first time it happened, I guess, Venus will trade in social niceties. That's from when this is, I don't know what that's about, why they mentioned that date. This transit is from September 10th, 2021 through October 7th, 2021. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, Venus will trade in social niceties for digging deeply and sparking needed change. Maybe they updated it to this transit and forgot to change that date. I don't know what she's talking about here. Anyway, when Venus is in Scorpio, Venus is about relationships and sociable, friendly, and affectionate. Scorpio is about passion and likes to dive headfirst into love. This means we'll crave meaningful and intense experiences when Venus is in Scorpio. Maybe that's another reason why the King of Cups showed up. Depth and intimacy become more important, urging us to trade in frivolous things and flings for long-lasting romance. Yes, didn't I see the Knight of Swords and Justice behind the King of Cups? And I said, oh, Libra also. Been talking about Gemini, and I said, okay, Libra too. And then Aquarius, in that order. So yeah, maybe that was because of Venus's transit through Scorpio being this week. So Venus is depth and intimacy become more important, urging us to trade in those frivolous flings for long-lasting romance. Love can border on obsessive when Venus is in this sign, compelling us to go all in when it comes to matters of the heart. Venus in Scorpio is a time when we'll want to shine a light on the shadows of our relationships, those nagging thoughts that we've been pushing aside to make peace. Well, they become impossible to ignore when Venus and Scorpio get together. It's a time to go beneath the surface, to find the truth, and to hold it up to the light of day. We'll try to figure out what we can do to make it work, or if it's a time to let go. This transit gives our relationship a major reality check, whether we want it or not. Venus and Scorpio can also bring power struggles and money concerns out into the open. Subtle issues can become more obvious than they were before. How money is spent becomes a focus in partnerships where financial resources are shared. This could also be a time when we have a stronger interest in making financial investments or decisions about loans, insurance, or other areas of our lives having to do with money. This can also be some of us moving, right? Booking a trip. Maybe that's what books is about. Booking a trip. Booking, something with some sort of broker. Literally moving house to somewhere that's more affordable or more feasible or better for us. Yes, Venus and Scorpio can be pretty heavy, but it can also be truly amazing. All of this intensity leads to a stronger bond. So if you're up for the challenge, both emotionally and physically, this could end up being a transformative and sexy time that ends up bringing you and your partner much closer together. Goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with Venus and Scorpio in your own chart. And if you are so inclined to want to read it, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. I thank you again for joining me. I'll be back with love and the Virgo new moon. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. Namaste.